Sunday, September 25th, Floyd Money Mayweather takes on Mikuru Asakura from the Saitama Super Arena in connection with Rise-In for Super Rise-In. The bout will be immediately followed by Rise-In 38. Here to discuss this exhibition bout and all the particulars, our go-to boxing roundtable, Dan Raphael, Andreas Hale, Curran Bhatia. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thanks so much.
We're here.
All right, gents. So, seeing as this is an exhibition bout, we don't really need to cover the similar lines of questioning like we did before when we were discussing previous fights. We're not going to cover things like rankings and title shots. So the line of questioning today is going to be a little different. Hopefully it reflects some of the questions that casual viewers and potential viewers on FITE may have, like myself. So I thought a good place to start, a good launching point, Dan, would be maybe if you could break down for layman's like me the structure of an exhibition bout and the particulars of this bout in Saitama.
I mean, the main thing, Nick, is that an exhibition bout technically means it won't count on anybody's record. That if there's a knockout, for example, it's not like you're going to go look up Floyd's record and see that he's 50-1 should he lose, or similar for the case of Asakura. It just doesn't count on the record. It also means that if it goes, this is a bout that is scheduled for 3 rounds. It's at 155 pounds, so in boxing terms, 1 pound over the junior middleweight limit where Floyd was a longtime champion. If it did go the 3-round distance, there won't be judges there to give scores because there won't be an official result. So it's a matter of an exhibition in terms of the fans who are there to enjoy it, to watch it, see what these guys can do. Obviously, it's Mayweather, the supreme pound-for-pound Hall of Fame boxer, and Asakura, a popular 2-time mixed martial arts champion, and he's now going to be fighting Floyd in a boxing ring. So, but other than the fact that there are no decisions rendered or that it won't impact records in terms of their official nature, it's basically the same as a boxing match. They may make certain alterations as far as what the size of the gloves are and that sort of thing. Maybe, if it gets out of hand, particularly because Asakura is not a boxer, that the referee knows to make sure to pull the plug maybe a little quicker, let's say, than if it was an official boxing match. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. We don't want a Apollo Creed Drago situation. That's basically what it is. It's a chance to see these guys in the ring do their thing for fun, as opposed to, as you mentioned, serious implications of rankings and championships and what's next.
Right. So you touched on the inexperience and the and things getting out of hand. So the last Floyd bout in Japan was when he faced Tenshin Nasukawa back in 2018. He showed up 2 hours late. He knocked him down 3 times in 2 minutes before his corner called the fight and left him in tears. And after the fight, Floyd said, "It was all about entertainment. We had fun." Okay, maybe Floyd did. My question is, given that feedback, and given the feedback that the bout received from the public, which, let's face it, was largely not particularly glowing, how do you approach this bout, knowing that you have other bouts? If you're Floyd, you have other, he's on this sort of retirement sort of exhibition tour, and he presumably wants to give the people a show. How do you approach this bout if you're Floyd and his team? Do you go straight in and finish the guy in 2 minutes, or do you take a different approach? Andreas, I'll start that one with you.
I mean, for Floyd, look, he carried Conor McGregor for as long as he could till he finished him and cashed in a bet. But if you're Floyd, it is about entertainment, and ultimately it's about finishing a guy. Everything is pro wrestling here. It's like you want to entertain, you want to talk some trash, you want to showboat and have some fun. When he fought dangerous Don Moore, he kind of carried him around a little bit, then he punched him to the body and finished him. I think Floyd has become the old man who likes beating up kids. I don't know how else to say this, but these guys have no business in a boxing ring with Floyd Mayweather, but Floyd is old, so the kids think they can take advantage of Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd's here to prove that, no, you can't. I still have dad strength, and I'll beat you up. So ultimately what you're going to get is a Floyd Mayweather who's not going to be boxing, doing a lot of moving. He's going to be sitting there trying to sit in the pocket and see what this kid's got to offer him. Asakura is, I believe, 15, almost 14 years his junior. So he's going to feel like he's going to be younger, stronger, and he's going to be able to do things to Floyd, and he's going to get Floyd out of there. But I think Floyd's going to approach this as, I'll give him a round. There's only 3. I'll give him a round. Let me see what he has. And then I'm going to beat him up. And because that's what people want to see. They don't want to see a fight go the distance. They want to see Floyd beat people up. And I think that's exactly how he's going to approach it. He'll carry him for a round or two, and then he'll get him out of there.
Karan, I'm curious to hear your take on this, because I think I'm pretty much in line with what Andrea says. But there is always, and I hate to say it, because I don't want it to seem like I'm being disingenuous and just trying to sell this fight based on something that isn't there. But there is always the old adage of a puncher's chance, and we could see Floyd maybe take it easy, early on, and there's always a chance that this kid comes out guns blazing, and so with that regard, how do you anticipate that Floyd will approach this?
I think Floyd is going to approach this as entertainment, and that's been the common theme. We mentioned his last time out against Nasukawa, $9 million for 139 seconds of work. I think that would be fun and entertainment for everyone if you could have that opportunity. The one thing we can say this time around, right? Let's try to make the case for Mikuru here. He's 5'9.5". Floyd is 5'8", so you have a small height advantage. He's a southpaw. Asakura has fought at 154 pounds. He's been a champion, so that's a little bit higher than Floyd's used to. 30 years old, home field advantage, 2 fight winning streaks. But is that any of that going to matter? No, it's not, right? That's not going to give him an advantage over Floyd Mayweather in the boxing ring, right? But what it could do is allow for maybe some moments of entertainment. We brought up Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor landed the uppercut in round 1. That was entertainment, right? We didn't necessarily expect to see that happen. Even against Logan Paul, right? Logan Paul has not anywhere near the boxing experience that Floyd Mayweather does, but he's a bigger man. So it was like, okay, what is it like when a bigger man is leaning on you? Can you knock him out? What is it going to be like? It's just possibilities for entertainment. That's where Floyd is in his career right now. If you want Floyd Mayweather to fight Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford, that's not going to happen. Hopefully they fight each other. But this is where Floyd Mayweather is at in his careers. Exhibition fights, making money. It was reported that after this fight, if Floyd is successful, which we all think he will be, he may take on KSI's brother, Deji, in a boxing match, an exhibition match. This is Floyd Mayweather's retirement tour, as we said, and we're here to witness it and see one of the greatest fighters of our generation do his thing.
Okay, so down on the flip side of that, how do you approach this bout if you're Asakura?
Well, he's got nothing to lose, Nick. I mean, Asakura is the B-side, even in his own country of Japan. At Mayweather, it's the Mayweather show. There's that intrigue of seeing the all-time great Mayweather come and fight your own guy. But for Asakura, again, because it's an exhibition, they're both going to be paid. It's not high stakes, as we discussed. And if Asakura somehow does something that's shocking, as Karen said, entertaining, and maybe lands a big uppercut or maybe even a knockdown or something crazy like that, then that's what everybody will be talking about. Because again, unless it's a knockout, either way, there's no official winner. So we can watch it and say, well, I thought Floyd won 3-0, or I thought it was 2-1. The bottom line, and that doesn't matter. The only way there'll be a definitive result, official or not, if a guy gets knocked out or the referee jumps in there and stops this thing. So he's got nothing to lose. Kern made the good point that this is not, when he fought Tenshin, the fight you mentioned, which was his first exhibition post-retirement, he went there and he absolutely just destroyed and blitzed this guy in in less than a round. He was a much, much smaller fighter. He had been, as a kickboxer and as an MMA fighter, fighting like around 120-something pounds, 130 pounds. Floyd was, a full-fledged welterweight at that point, fighting in the often. This fighter, Asik, has been, his championships in MMA have been at 154 and 143. So size-wise, or at least in terms, these are similar. So, the Kurt's point of view, I mean, I assume that these guys, they approach it with. It's not to say that they're not taking it seriously, I guess, but it's not the same mental preparation focus as it would be if it was a real fight for big stakes. So, I don't think that they have that edge that they would if this was a major championship fight. But Asakura knows who he's fighting. He knows he's fighting the world-famous, legendary Floyd Mayweather, and he'd like to make a name for himself and do something that we remember. So I think he'll be motivated. I don't know if they speak to the fighters ahead of time, like in certain exhibition situations. They tell them, look, it's an exhibition. When Tyson fought Roy Jones, for example, in their exhibition, The California Commission, when they were making sure that things were in order for that, they told these guys, said, listen, this is an exhibition. Go in there, do your thing. But, we're here to give the crowd a show. And the implication was, even if it was not in the exact words, is don't go trying to blitz this guy and take his head off. Move around the ring, show your skills, do your thing, have fun, compete, but don't go for the kill, basically. Now, whether the athlete agrees to that or not, that's a different matter. But I have to assume that they'll be in there trying, but not looking to destroy the guy. Is the point? I guess is what I'm saying.
Right, and there's always that thing about fighters' pride, isn't there? It's like, this kid could be going in there with good intentions, and then he gets tagged, and the next thing you know, it's like all bets are off, and he's throwing wild haymakers, and there's always that possibility because he's very unorthodox and he's not a straight up boxer. That we get something wild and crazy. But from Asakura's point of view, what are the potential pros and cons for taking a fight like this for an MMA fighter who is still in his prime, Karan?
This is a huge opportunity for Asakura to be announced to a new audience. And I've said this consistently with YouTube boxing, with people from other walks of life coming into boxing, right? This isn't going away. This is going to be part of the boxing culture now. There's enough room at the table to also have celebrity YouTube, social media boxing and high level boxing, right? So this is kind of like a mix. But the thing is, we mentioned Tenshin Nasukawa. I don't think we would have that name in this conversation had he not fought an exhibition with Floyd Mayweather. Now he's well known. He got more followers because of it. And that's the same thing that's going to happen to Mikuru here. He's going to get his opportunity to be on some type of stage and show what he can do. He'll get more notoriety. So there's a lot of advantages there in terms of him building his own brand. And if I was him, I would certainly take this Mayweather fight. The one thing that we talked about was the weight classes, right? Floyd Mayweather moved up at one point to fight at 154 pounds. He fought Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto, there was times where if you look at Floyd after that fight, he had a bloody lip, he had a bloody mouth. He didn't go up to 154 many more times after that, right? So if you're Mikuru, that's the mentality you're taking into this fight. Hey, I'm the younger guy. I'm a southpaw. I'm the bigger man. I'm going to impose my size. I'm going to go for it. Right. But at the end of the day, we know it's Floyd Mayweather. We know how skilled he is in a boxing ring. And I do expect to see it similar to other Floyd Mayweather exhibitions where it's not necessarily that he's carrying the guy early, but he's taking his time. He's letting someone punch them out, expend energy. And that's why sometimes in these exhibitions, you see interesting moments of entertainment of someone maybe having a little bit of success against Floyd. But the one interesting thing about Floyd in exhibitions versus Floyd during his career, which I actually am looking forward to seeing, is Floyd in his career was a very technically sound fighter and very defensive. And the reason for that, obviously, was because he was fighting some of the best fighters in the world in the boxing ring. Now that he's on the exhibition tour, he's more of a come forward guy. Put his hands up, come forward, and maybe even try to go for the knockout. And that's what I look forward to seeing on this event, probably in the later half of the fight.
Andreas, it's easy to point out the obvious financial allure of doing this retirement exhibition tour, but do you think there's anything more to it for Floyd? I mean, Floyd really is so great. I mean, compared to even most other high-level boxers, he's operating on a different level, especially when it comes to defensive skills, like Karan just pointed out. Is any part of this like the old adage, something left in the basement with Floyd?
I mean, part of it is he likes to entertain. That's Floyd's always been an entertainer. And if he likes to work out, the man's he stays in shape all the time. He may not stay in 147-pound shape because he's a little bit older, but now he likes to stay in shape. So you mean to tell me I can make a few $1 million by staying in shape? I'm going to go do that. And I'm going to go have fun doing that. And I'm going to entertain. And we're going to have a good time. Look, he knows this kid has nothing to lose. So he's going to have fun with this. He's going to talk to the commentators. What you're going to get out of Floyd Mayweather is what you didn't really get out of him in his pro boxing career, which is in-ring entertainment. People like myself and Curran and Dan, we appreciate the technical aspects of boxing. But the casual fan doesn't care. Boxing is the only sport where a bad fight is actually a really fun fight because nobody cares about blocking punches, slipping, shoulder rolls. Nobody cares about any of that. They want to see people throw hands. Floyd can do that now and have fun doing it and get paid. So the upside there is he can be entertaining. He remains relevant, which is always important to Floyd Mayweather. He could care less about Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. As long as we're talking about Floyd Mayweather, it keeps him happy, and that's what he likes to do. He stays on social media. I mean, he doesn't want to go away. So yes, there's an upside. If I can work out, do what I love, have fun, entertain, and rob a bank in the process, I'm all for it.
Okay, Dan.
Well said, Andreas. Well said.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, it's pretty put a period on it, put a bow on that, and we're done. So this is something interesting I wanted to touch on because I can actually speak to this a little bit myself from my wrestling career. But people who are planning to watch this bout on FITE maybe have never watched a boxing match or any other combat sport that's emanated from Japan. Can we discuss a little bit about what's different about Japanese combat sports and Japanese fans and what people might expect? And it might be a reason for people to tune in because it is quite intriguing how different it is in Japan.
It's definitely different. The thing about the Japanese fans is while they, I'm sure, love their sports as much as we do, it's not as much of a, it's more theater to them, it seems to me. There's not, you go to an NFL game or basketball or baseball or a big boxing match, MMA fight, whatever, the crowd's into it. They're cheering, they're roaring for their guys, they're going crazy. In Japan, they watch everything unfold and it's much more quiet. Doesn't mean they're not excited, doesn't mean they don't enjoy what they're seeing, but it's more like much more of a calm atmosphere. I always remember watching when Mike Tyson fought in Japan against Buster Douglas. The fight was in the morning because of the American television in prime time, so maybe they were a little sleepy. But the point was, they're seeing this great fight and an upset unfold. And if that had been in certain locations, the crowd would have been delirious. In Japan, they were very respectful and quiet, almost in shock, and you could hear a pin drop. It was just not that kind of raucous crowd. So it's not as electrifying, let's say, but that doesn't mean they're not enjoying what they're seeing. Is the point?
Yeah, there's a different type of atmosphere in Japan. I've wrestled in Japan, and Japanese wrestling fans are very similar in that they're very they're paying attention. And they do react. I think that's something that people often sort of mischaracterize about them, is that they do react, but they react they have very defined levels in how they react. It's it sort of starts at one level and then it raises to another and another and another, and it's very sort of respect oriented. It's very sort of, okay, we appreciate that you've put the work in. Now we're going to give you a little more. Now we're going to appreciate. And I think there's also, it's a respect for both fighters as well. It's often a case of, rather than sort of pulling for one guy in particular, they're more sort of appreciating the efforts of both. But they do present, in my opinion, they present combat sports in a very fascinating way. And it creates a different type of atmosphere. It's very, very professional, very sort of, it is atmospheric. It isn't like you said, there isn't this sort of delirium. There isn't people going bonkers and shouting and screaming and hollering, but there's a different type of electricity to it, which can be quite alluring and quite fascinating to a viewer if they're tuning in for the first time. Having said that, there's really not a whole lot more to cover on this because, like you said, it's 3 rounds. We all know what we're getting into here, but it would be a disservice to not go around the horn with everybody once. And please try to be kind when you say this. But let's hear some predictions. Let's see how you think this fight is going to go. And Dan, we can start with you.
I think it will wind up being like his last exhibition against Don Moore, and then there was the one before that he had against Logan Paul, where it's not necessarily explosive. I mean, those were longer fights; those were 8-round fights. This is a 3-round fight. That unless Floyd decides to step on the gas like he did with tension and just go for it, I think we're probably looking at a fight where Floyd will just do his thing, dominate over 3 rounds, and leave no doubt that he's supposed to be the winner if there were official scores rendered. Maybe we'll see a couple of nice moments of action, but I don't anticipate there being a knockout, but you never know. But I think in the end, for people that like Floyd or that are intrigued by the type of match, a boxer versus an MMA fighter, etc., just go into the event, with an open mind as far as not expecting to see Ali Frazier or, Tyson Fury, heavyweight title fighter, Triple G against Canelo Alvarez or something like that. Go in, see some entertainment, see these guys do the things at the top level that they've been in their sport, and enjoy it for what it is, and no more, no less.
Karan, what do you have to add?
Yeah, I think we were talking about Floyd Mayweather's style as a professional, and I think it's similar to, it was such a technical and defensive style, and it's almost like a pitcher pitching a perfect game or a no hitter, right? It's fascinating to see, but it's not as appealing as, let's say, a home run hitter. But the one thing about Floyd in this exhibition run is he's trying to become a little bit more like the home run hitter because he can do that. So my prediction is Floyd Mayweather, this fight is going to go on as long as he wants it to go. I think he'll probably give it a round just to give the crowd a little bit of their money's worth. And then I think in round 2 or maybe even early round 3, I think he'll go for the knockout and he'll probably get it. The one thing I know for sure, Floyd Mayweather will get paid. As he said on his own, I fight exhibitions and make more money than most people do on real fights. That's the case. He's earned that right. And now, a new audience is being able to see him fight. So he's earned that right. It's entertainment. And as everyone said, man, if you want to enjoy some combat sports at a different level, it's a little bit of a hybrid from some, social media fighting and top level fighting. It's a hybrid. If you want to enjoy that type of crossover, you should definitely check this out on FITE.
All right, Andreas, take it home, brother.
All right, so look, as long as Floyd's not 2 hours late and has somewhere else to be, this fight will go at least more than one round, right? Like he's clearly had somewhere else to be in the last fight. Here, I think as long as he shows up on time, he's going to entertain the crowd. I think what you're going to get is an entertaining fight. I think what we're going to get is Asakura is going to come out and just throw his hands. He's going to get a rise out of the crowd, and Floyd's going to cover up, and he's going to smile, and he might take one on the chin, and then he's going to battle back, and he's going to prove why he's one of the best in the world. But at the very least, you're going to be entertained. Look, we buy a lot of fights on pay-per-view, and we walk away saying, what did I spend my $70 on? What did I spend my $90 on? This fight sucked. At the very least, with this particular fight, I think you're going to have fun, you're going to be entertained, and you're going to walk away learning something else about Floyd Mayweather. You may learn something about his opponent. And the other thing that's for sure is we're going to look forward to Floyd's next exhibition. He's going to leave us something to remember so we continue to keep our focus on Floyd, because that's what Floyd wants. Oh, I'm sorry. He's going to knock him out. He's going to knock him out. It'll be like, I'll keep that third round. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's why he's Money Mayweather. And I think it bears mentioning too that for those who might be wondering, well, I'm going to buy this pay-per-view and it's only a 3-round fight. Again, it is going to be followed by Ryzen 38. Those guys are not going to be fighting exhibition style. Those guys are going to be knocking the hell out of each other. So, if you want to enjoy some Floyd antics and then follow up with some serious competition, that this pay-per-view should satisfy. The bout will air live on the 24th in Japan. Saitama Super Arena for Super Ryzen. Floyd Money Mayweather against Mikuru Asakura. And this is my opportunity to thank all of you for joining us again for Fight and Focus. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.